Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Upsurge Minor League Lower Bracket Week 2 playoff matchup between Akuma Scimitars and University of Connecticut B. My name is Finnick. Joining me on the desk today is Jacket, and how are we doing going into this first game of the best-of-3 series?
We are doing fantastic right now, Finnick. We've currently got a very exciting match ahead of us. As you mentioned, the two teams already, both in the Infernal Division here, 4-3 record here, 11-9 game score on the side of UConn B, as well as a 9-8 on Akuma Scimitars. Looking to be a very exciting match so far, a bit of a rivalry between this team. Very excited to see how it turns out.
Yep. In week number 1, University of Connecticut B got the best of Akuma Scimitars in a 2-1 matchup. Hopefully, that's indicative of a close 3-game series tonight. As we take a look at these individual players towards the draft, rosters have been very stable throughout the season. Only 2 instances of subs, and we are now into the pro draft here. Akuma Scimitars, 2 ban here. Let's talk a little bit about their mid laner here. I think it's probably worth mentioning. Ika has only played, has played a unique mid every single game this season, except for the one time he went back and doubled on Pantheon mid.
And we talked about this a little bit prior to this stream starting up. We were talking about what the definition of a champion ocean is and how Ika seems to be demonstrating that so far with his picks. As you mentioned, Pantheon mid being the only repeat pick. But that being said, you gotta kind of find it funny that Akuma seems to want to ban out some of his comfort picks, the Zed being the first one taken out. But as you mentioned, or pardon me, that's for UConn with the mid lane, you gotta wonder, is Ika concerned about what the opposing mid laner has to offer? Is he not have something in his champion ocean to deal with this Zed? And I'm very excited to see specifically what's going to happen in this mid lane matchup.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. We saw the Wukong being banned away as well from Akuma. Akuma banning that way away from University of Connecticut B. I should say. Scorcher Blaze has played that 11 times this regular season. By far, one of the most played champions I've seen of any individual player throughout Upsurge Minor League. We see, as we are already into the picks here, Karma, Ash, and Rek'Sai being picked up by Akuma, as we see the Ezreal and Set being picked up by UConn. I will expect the Yuumi to be picked up. They have played the Ezreal Yuumi before. Instead, it will be the Azir for their mid laner in Shutbug as we move into the second round of bans.
And I gotta say, I'm definitely surprised to see them pick this so early here. It seems like this gives Akuma Scimitars plenty of time now to try and figure out what they want to counter pick this with, and really set up a good, favorable lane matchup here for Ika. And yeah, I gotta say, I'm excited to see that sets going as well. We've seen it flexed in top, jungle, even support, and so I'm wondering here how Akuma Scimitars will deal with that potential flex of the set.
Yeah, University of Connecticut B has played the set 4 times this season in the top lane, so I'm going to assume it's going to go there. As far as the rest of the picks go, everything on Akuma's side, they've played the Karma a couple times, Ash a couple times. This is a first time in Upsurge Minor League Rek'Sai for Hyde Haru, so interesting to see that. We see the bans come out, the Rumble, Kog'Maw, Volibear, and Camille. Volibear has been a pick that Akuma Scimitars does not want to play against. They've played it themselves. Scorcher Blaze has picked that twice in the jungle. Don't want to take that matchup. The Kog'Maw ban, of course, towards the Kog'Maw Lulu, which is something that Akuma Scimitars have picked quite a bit of. Interestingly, though, it's a Rek'Sai R4 pick for UConn, despite the fact that Akuma hasn't really shown any true tanks.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm just very blown away here by the drafts on both sides. UConn seems to want this front-to-back teamfight almost with the Azir and the Ezreal and the Trundle, but Akuma doesn't seem interested in picking into that. You've got the Veigar, seen as a very good counterpick to this Azir. He can use his cage to prevent Azir from escaping. And as you mentioned, they don't really have any crazy tanky members. Aatrox at most, but even he is just a bruiser at best. So we're going to have to see how this Trundle works out. and how that matchup goes into the Rek'Sai specifically.
Yeah, and especially when you save your support for last pick here, you're thinking, okay, it might be some sort of weird flex or something like that, but it's the R5 Alistar. I don't like this draft order from Yukon. I feel like you hold off your mid lane pick and pick your Alistar, your Trundle, R3, makes this draft a little bit nicer for you. Akuma, meanwhile, as we said, you got that really good counter matchup of the Veigar in the mid lane, has not been played by their mid laner in the UML this season, so add another one to the pile as we get into the in-game draft here. What do you expect to see from these lane matchups, starting in the top lane?
Well, I have to agree with you. I think that it was really a mistake by Yukon to show their hand so early, and from the top lane going down, Aatrox, we've seen him over and over, especially in the LCS, as a favorite counter pick into that set. He's able to keep him in a range, prevent him from getting in with uses of the Darkened Blade, Rek'Sai as well. Such an early, aggressive jungler, whereas Trundle, the best you can do is run into lane with your Frozen Domain, try and get a Frozen Pillar down, prevent them from moving away. And while that might work for some of the lanes, Ashe and Karma, for example, don't have any escapes beyond Karma's shield. But that being said, Aatrox with his dash, Veigar has his cage, and even Rek'Sai with her tunnels, very hard to stop from moving around or escaping. And I want to see Haru here. I want to see him be aggressive, get advantages into those lanes, especially around mid lane. Aika here has been seen to be a very reliable laner. We've seen him use almost every single champion that he's played to great effect. And with a lead on this Veigar, especially against the Azir, it should be a very easy gank setup. You use the Event Horizon cage, you stop him from dashing away with the Shifting Sands, and then Rek'Sai just burrows in, uses her knockup, and should be an easy kill.
Yeah, and especially when you have these kinds of counter matchups, junglers like focusing towards those lanes. We kind of touched on the Rek'Sai a bit here, but let's talk a little bit more about the matchup in general. You have this Trundle, which was picked into the Rek'Sai. I don't think necessarily a bad matchup for the Trundle, but what do you think about that jungle match?
Well, it's like you mentioned, not terrible for Trundle. He's so good at dueling, especially because of his chomp. It allows him to steal that AD, so when any champion like Rek'Sai, who is normally aggressive, can fight early, it prevents them from being able to do so as heavily. It becomes much more Trundle favored, and his sustain, in my opinion, is nearly unmatched. That's why we saw him in top lane and support, is because anytime someone dies near him, he gets a portion of his health back. So he's able to come out of the jungle here generally pretty healthy. He's able to move around the map very quickly with his Frozen Domain. And so I think he's definitely a champion that could try and match Rek'Sai, but I think he'll truly shine later on when he can break down any of the resistances that Akuma Scimitars tries to put forth into their front line.
Yeah, especially when you have a Rek'Sai Aatrox comp, you're going to see them build more bruiser typically, but when you don't have any true tanks, we might see the Center Hulk on the Rek'Sai. We'll see how the build goes for Hyde Haru. We already touched on the mid lane matchup, so quickly before we go to the break in the bottom lane, it's going to be the Ashe Karma versus the Ezreal Alistar.
I'm always surprised when I see something like this on the side of the Ezreal player, especially having such an aggressive support usually. Seems like it's going to be very difficult for Yukon to really find that synergy in the bottom lane. Maybe they'll be able to force something, but Karma, great at stopping engages, great at preventing anything too heavily from going on with her ADC between the Mantrid Shield, between her Spirit Bond, stopping the Alistar with their root, and then Ashe as well, going to constantly harass them. And all they have for sustain is Alistar's Triumphant Roar, his passive, which will occasionally heal them up a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be anywhere near enough to deal with the harass that Karma and Ashe put out.
Yeah, but at the same time, right, Karma doesn't have any inherent healing. She needs to purchase the Athene's Unholy Grail to actually heal up the Ashe. So it kind of goes both ways. There isn't a lot of sustain from either lane. Of course, Karma, as we said, has the ability to Mantra Shield onto the Ashe if things get hairy. But I think Ezreal, generally speaking, has a bit more poke. So I'm interested to see how the lane goes. I think when you look at the overall team comps, do you see which lanes each team's going to play around, and where is your strong side going to be? What are your win conditions for the early game?
And it's just as we mentioned, right? That Akuma Scimitars have counterpicked in the top and middle lane. Yukon showed their hand a bit early. I definitely expect to see this Rek'Sai moving around the top side of the map. Meanwhile, I definitely expect that Trundle, he can try to counter gank, he can try and prevent things, but he's not going to be able to do it that well with only his pillar to offer for crowd control. Therefore, I assume he's going to try and counter jungle the Rek'Sai. He's going to try and stick that bottom side for Yukon and see how he can assist them.
Yeah. All that being said, though, we have to throw it to a quick break. But before that, a word from our sponsor.
Started with a vision of quality, a vision of uniformity. We took the time to create something familiar yet refreshing, something with a bit of change.
Designed to fit any brand's unique vision.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Upsurge Minor League Playoffs Week 2 matchup between the Akuma Scimitars and University of Connecticut B. My name is Finnick. Joining me on the desk today is Jacket, and we're getting ready to go. Game number 1 on the blue side, Akuma Scimitars, Oven Johnson in the top lane, Haru in the jungle, Aika in the mid lane, Colossal Chungus in the AD carry position, and Mini Milk in support.
Yeah, here on the other side we have Yukon B with Fluoride in the top lane, Scorcher Blaze in the jungle, Shabug here in the middle lane, Arthritic Boomer as the AD carry, and Kiss Me Slow in the support position. We're already seeing a little bit of action here on the bottom side, Fennec. Just a little bit of poke here onto Kiss Me Slow from Colossal Chungus.
Yeah, just a little bit of poke, as it were. Ash, of course, taking the W on the level 1, so should be a very strong level 2 once she gets the Q, but obviously Arthritic Boomer, once he has the QE, also very strong on the level 2, and Kiss Me Slow's level 2 is definitely, I think, better than Karma's, because you have Headbutt Pulverize, but we'll see how that works. Otherwise, nothing too insane on the start. We see an Invasive Ward down from the Trundle, and a no match actually going down on the bottom side of the map from Akuma Scimitars, so they will have the vision advantage going into the first clear for the jungle.
Yeah, they also got that ward placed onto the blue buff. They're going to know right now that Haru is starting at red buff. We might be seeing a fight break out quickly here. Haru seems to be debating it, but going to continue clearing jungle. And we talked a good bit, actually, Fennec, here, going into the game, the loading screen, about the runes that some of the players have. For example, the Veigar with the Glacial Augment, and how this really might mean that the team is looking for picks. We're seeing some heavy trading here on the bot side.
Yeah, right now, just level 1 trades, a bit strong here. Kiss Me Slow, of course, already popping the exhaust, so a bit unfortunate, I think, for the University of Connecticut B bot side. They need to hit the level 2 first, or else they miss their level 2 advantage in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I have to agree, and while we were speaking about runes, I actually specifically wanted to draw attention to the very man himself. Kiss Me Slow is actually running Phase Rush here on the Alistar.
Yeah, not something you typically see. I feel like you typically will see not Guardian, the other one.
Aftershock.
Aftershock, yeah.
Normally want that tankiness, but I gotta say, I actually think this is a very interesting idea here. We see the Glacial Augment in the mid lane from Aika, and how that's going to be used for catching any of the players from Yukon out. And so getting that extra move speed and the slow resistance from the Phase Rush could certainly help him out, but right now, not having any kind of resolve runes, not having any form of damage reduction or sustain added into his kit, Kiss Me Slow already dropping to 100 HP.
Yeah, you got to be very, very careful there. All this Ash poke, they got some WQ down onto the Ezreal. Meanwhile, on the top lane, though, we see a little bit of a gank happening from both the junglers. Short plays, flash knock up, flashing back, and will get under tower. Knock up will land from the Aatrox, though, so a couple flashes blown in the top side of the map, both from the junglers. Oven Johnson currently flashless as well. So bit of just a trade of summoners in the top lane, but I feel like the advantage might go to Yukon B there.
Without a doubt, definitely using that Rek'Sai's flash so early without anything having been traded. Kiss Me Slow, speaking of flashes, in a position to try and look for some kind of play in case Mini Milk or Colossal Chungus step too far up. But in the meantime, game has been fairly slow bar for those quick little skirmishes that happened. I'm very interested to see how Yukon tries to take advantage of both jungler flashes being down, if they want to try and catch out this Rek'Sai, or vice versa, try and catch the Trundle out, and Shabug might be in a bit of a bad position here if Aika chooses to cage him, but no, going to get that vision pretty much for free.
Well, Fluoride, though, looking for the first blood flashing. Avoids the Infernal Chains. That was way too close.
Oh, we're going to see it in the bot side, too.
Kiss Me Slow on the way over with the Pulverize, gets it. There you go. First blood going over to the Ezreal. Now Arthritic Boomer flashing out of the way of the tether from the Karma. Colossal Chungus. Looking at some damage down onto Kiss Me Slow with the Q damage. Should be able to trade back onto the support. That's 1 for 1 now. Ignite down onto Scorcher Blaze, but here comes the Azir in with the Streamer Triple. Vega's already here, though. Gets a stun down on to Scorcher Blaze. He's down to 50 health. Has to kite out of the fight as Arthritic Boomer goes down to Aika with the Q. The W from the Veigar hits onto the Azir despite the flash. And it's 2 for 1 in favor of Akuma Scimitars in the bot lane.
Wow, what a fight there, Finnick. Already seen a ton of early aggression from both of these teams. Haru, no flash, not even 5 minutes into the game. He's invading the enemy jungle, trying to fight this Trundle, and forcing something to happen that inevitably comes out in his team's favor.
Yeah, meanwhile, Hyde Haru gonna go ahead and use that advantage to take the Ocean Dragon, first one of the game. So we'll see what the second Drake is in a moment, but Hyde Haru doing pretty alright. The next Drake will be the Infernal, so we're looking at a Mountain or Cloud Soul this game.
Yeah, I gotta say, I really love the proactive nature here of Hyde Haru in the jungle, taking that first dragon, allowing the team to potentially plan around what they want to do, what they want to try and get in terms of these dragons. And really, Infernal Drake, while that would be nice, it's going to come down to what soul they can look for, Mountain or Cloud. And especially with the Cloud Drake, with how much Akuma Scimitars want to try and catch the enemy team, having that Cloud Drake, having those low cooldown ultimates, the Veigar ultimate for executing, the Ash Arrow for the picks, and especially the move speed given to you. For example, Alvin Johnson with the World Ender can zoom into fights, and I really think that this could be what they want in the game.
On top of that, Karma, if she's able to get that, does get the movement speed bonus on a Mantra E, so extra movement speed, as it were. But meanwhile, though, I think Cloud Soul less advantageous when you're looking at this Azir, Ezreal. I mean, the set can use it to a little bit of an advantage. Same with the Trundle. So I think they're hoping for the Mountain Soul. Mountain Soul, of course, very good on Trundle. We'll see how that turns out later in the game, though, as we do have level 6s in the top lane and in the mid lane.
Seeing both junglers as well, making this a much slower game. Haru, despite that very aggressive start, beginning to slow things down a bit, look to farm, and even the more heavy trades we've seen going down looks to be happening quite as much. The bot lane calmed down a little bit, the top lane, both parents are at full health, and now we're just gonna have to see if Scorcher Blaze here tries this in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, and we are now paused. Apparently, Shabug had a little bit of a freeze, but it's now unpaused. The lag is gone.
And definitely an aggressive look there from Scorcher Blaze. You're starting to see these teams posture very aggressively. It seems they want something to happen here. And
meanwhile, on the top... Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's just what I was about to say. In the top lane, Fluoride going super aggressive.
Yeah, might get punished, though. Cut back in with the Aatrox, pops the World Ender, knock up. Fluoride should go down, ends up popping the showstopper as a last little gesture. But Alvin Johnson picks up the solo kill.
Very well played there by Alvin Johnson. We're seeing the patience. We're seeing how this how this champion pick goes into the Aatrox. And meanwhile, in the bot lane, Haru trying to make it happen.
Gets the flash out. Kiss Me Slow goes down. Arthritic Boomer, though. Not gonna get hit by the Ash Arrow.
Well dodged out, but meanwhile, there's not a single advantage that is being found on the side of University of Connecticut B. Just getting pushed out of almost every single lane. The only one's even remotely even here is the mid lane. But even then, Scorcher Blaze falling behind the jungle top side. Alvin Johnson has the lead. Now Colossal Chungus and Minimilk here in the bottom lane. Huge lead now. 1-0 and 2 on the side of Colossal Chungus, getting over 20 minions on the side of that 80 carry, and even getting these tower plates now, we can see that Colossal Chungus is over 1,000 gold almost on Arthritic Boomer.
Yeah, feels really nice. However, Reptile being taken, we saw during that Ica loses flash in the mid lane to Shabug. TV being channeled, though. They don't want this Reptile to go away. Knockup lands from Alvin Johnson. It gets stolen by the Aatrox. He can't lose the Smite Bite. Here comes that Pulverize, though, as Juru makes his way into the fight. Gets the knockup, pulled back in by the Facebreaker. Goes down, but there goes the enemy support there as Ica ends up picking up the kill. Scorcher Blaze, though, trying to run, gets caught up in the cage, gets taken down low by the Q. Ica does not have the ultimate available, and Fluoride and Shabug will disengage the fight.
I'm definitely surprised to see that patience there from Shabug with the Emperor's Divide, but a bit of greed here from Scorcher Blaze.
Yeah, flash forced out of him as Chungus, meanwhile, in the bot lane, does a lot of damage with each auto. Arthritic Boomer, we want to have to back there.
And this is part of that problem, as you mentioned. Ezreal does have very strong poke damage, but oh my goodness. What a flash.
Yeah, that, you know, it's very fortunate for the Ezreal that Kiss Me Slow was able to save him, but alas, Arthritic Boomer now has the Monomune completed. We see 900 gold up on the Ashe, but no completed item here because she's gone for the Blade of the Ruined King start, so a bit more expensive.
And as you mentioned, this shouldn't be a huge surprise for us that we're seeing UConn have trouble here in the earlier game. They have a team that wants to scale up some with the Azir and the Ezreal, and we're trying to see them make moves to match Akuma Scimitars, though, which I feel like is where a lot of those problems are coming from. That you can see so much of their own jungle and their rivers lit up on the side of Akuma Scimitars. They have vision almost everywhere they want it. And so they know Scorcher Blaze is at this dragon. They see that he might be starting up. But now we have to see if they want to contest it here with the bot lane, having just gone back to base, trying to reset now.
Well, there's the dragon. So, dragon's 1-1. Cloud Soul will be the name of the game. Ooh, that was a really nice face breaker, actually.
Definitely seeing a number of good trades here on the side of Fluoride. However, it definitely could be scary for him. We saw how that overconfidence didn't play out too well for him last time, having gotten solo killed. But the advantage on the side.
We're gonna miss from the HTE, but here comes Side Haru, gets the knockup down, Kiss Me Slow, will end up falling. Athletic Boomer though, getting chased under tower by Colossal Chungus. Ends up tanking up a couple tower shots as Mini Milk tanks the last one. Trades the turret aggro. They should be able to get first tower here in the bottom lane.
This is exactly what Akuma Scimitars want. They want to try and push their earlier advantages, use the harassment bottom lane, push out the Ezreal and the Alistar consistently, and we thought there was going to be such emphasis on the top side, but I actually love seeing what Haru has done now, because instead of giving the already favorable matchups an even bigger lead, he's instead pushing it to the limit here in the bot lane, finding dragons, finding this first tower, and opening up the map for this team, and getting every advantage they can try to get here in the early game.
Emperor's Divide down on the Ica, pops the W and the R, goodbye! Ica's dominating now, 3-0.
Really?
Hide Haru. Gonna just go ahead and take some camps down towards the bottom side of the map. As Fluoride fakes it back. Lane swap coming out from UConn B. Sorry, not from UConn B, excuse me, from Akuma Scimitars. Season 6 strats still turning fairly nice nowadays.
And definitely smart here, because again, they just want to keep pushing whatever advantage that they have, that they can get, especially for Colossal Chungus, having already gotten all the tower plates on bottom side, wanting to see if they can snag a bit more and get as much value into their AD carry as possible before the game gets too far ahead.
Yeah, and Ashe currently sitting on the Blade of the Ruined King. Should be going either IE or Renown's Hurricane next item. Mantra Q hits onto Fluoride, so feels nice as Colossal Chungus just keeps on eating away at the top tower.
And you have to wonder what's going through the head of UConn B right now, because they're really struggling to punish this bot lane.
Oh, they're going in onto the Veigar. Flash out. Shabuk actually burn flash there as well. Cage, beautiful from the Veigar. It's on a Kiss Me Slow. Haru's here though. Put the Prey Seeker down. Shabug caught in the cage. Goodbye, my friend. Ica 4-0. On the top lane, Fluoride flashing in onto Mini Milk, but he's able to get the root down. Mantra W is OP. Fluoride with the Haymaker, still going down super low through the shield. Colossal Chungus gets the kill, but he's got to make his way away from the Trundle. Will still go down, but Mini Milk has a lot of damage on the Karma, surprisingly enough. Here comes Flash Knockup, though, from the Rek'Sai side. Haru picks up the kill. Will be a 3-for-1 across the map.
This is so well played by the side of Akuma Scimitars. They're finding every advantage, they're finding every favorable fight. Even there, they shut down Colossal Chungus, but are losing so much more for it. Rift Herald spawning now. Haru's already there to take it. If he wants, might opt not to, but meantime, Aika, every single time Shibug has tried to force something, he's gotten punished. Aika has found the slows, has found the cage, and shown why this is considered a counter pick.
Yeah, just really well played at the moment. Of course, when you see a Glacial Vagar, you're thinking, okay, less of a mid-game, more of a late game. You're trading in some of the mid-game power spike you get with going decap second item for the utility. But as we see here, Aika basically proving conventional wisdom wrong, able to use this to quite some advantage as we move into the mid-game.
Right now, Rift Herald being picked up by a Haru. Interested to see where Haru's going to try and drop this, maybe try and put pressure on the top side, what with the Dragon beginning to come up. I want to see which teams put more priority on this. We might be seeing a small skirmish here in the bot side, but not looking like too much is going to happen. Both these teams definitely built with a more passive play style in mind. Obviously, Yukon with the Alistar and set, as well as a Trundle needs to get in.
Being channeled a bit slow, caught a little bit far out. Flash pulverized down. Azir looking for the shifting chance, but won't find it. Ezreal pops the ultimate as Aika gets killed into the Trundle. Gets him slow, also going down. Showstopper into the back line, finds his way onto the Aatrox, but he will still fall. And that should be enough to get the Dragon over. Another kill going over to Colossal Chungus. It's 4-for-0. They're trading onto the Azir, caught in the Prey Seeker. Ash gonna get the slow down. They will be able to shifting sands out of the way as the Dragon gets taken by Oven Johnson. And they move on to the bot tower.
And I'd have to be a liar right now if I didn't say this game already looks so Akuma favored. They're finding every single advantage that they want. 2 Dragons now. Second turtle picked up, being used to open up a tier 2 tower. And just look at the carries of Akuma Scimitars. Colossal Chungus, 4-1-5. Aika, 5-0-1. And not only that, they have at least 20 farm up on each of their laners. And Aika specifically, 155 farm at 18 minutes, 5-0-1, has almost 8,000 gold total in his pockets. And we're going to see that come back in spades once he finds that base and gets his items, and will have both the GLP and the Twin Shadows with that Glacial Augment.
On top of that, 162 stacks of phenomenal evil power. So watch towards his death cap next item. I assume he's going to go death cap next item. If he doesn't, I'm going to be very upset as a former Vagar main. However, buys a stopwatch, not against this one. I don't think he should complete the Zonias here, but it's really a matter of taste, I think. Generally speaking, if you want a snowball, you go for the decap third.
Definitely surprising to see he's not focusing on snowballing himself, but I do like to see some more self-display style.
No. That's just dirty. That's just dirty.
I mean, we're seeing the team comp pay out here. This is exactly what they want to do. Find these picks. And when you're playing in a mobile juggernaut, you cannot afford to be up that far against the Vagar with Glacial Augment.
Yeah. Shabug pops the turret and the Divine Judgment is KO ultimate. The Emperor's Divide, as it were. Had a D in there somewhere. In exchange for the World Ender. Mini Meltdown. Looks for a Mantra Q on to Shabug. Won't find it as he blast cones over.
Almost walked face first into that Rek'Sai. But right now, those are the kinds of very small pluses that you can be happy about. And that's not much to say. You know, not much to write home about that, gee, I didn't walk face first into a Rek'Sai, at least. we're seeing already almost 10,000 gold lead on the side of Akuma Scimitars. We're seeing them posture aggressively, get this vision.
Oh, nice cleanse. Oh, Arthritic Boomer, though, just goes down to Ica. He's got, like, just a WR, not even needing to get the cage down. He pops it anyway to get the kill onto the Alistar. It will be a 2-for-0 in the mid lane.
And you gotta wonder what's going through the heads of these two bot laners on the side of Yukon B. Now a grand total of 1 and 9, struggling to find a way into this game. And quite frankly, it seems Yukon B cannot find an answer to this Veigar.
Yeah, it's really difficult when you get counterpicked like that. I feel like this goes back to the draft here. I feel like you want to see the counterpick from mid lane, especially in this type of instance. Ica just goes legendary there. WQ not even needing the R, despite it being down. Upton Johnson gets a nice Infernal Chains down. Scorcher Blaze will end up flashing out of the way. Gets almost hit by the Twin Shadows, but the Spooky Ghost says no, and right back to the Baron. Go Akuma Scimitars.
To see if they try something here. Flash is up for Fluoride. Kiss Me slows the Hex Flash.
And the back comes out.
And
I think you might be slightly behind.
I am indeed, unfortunately. But that being said, don't have to be too behind to see that this game is going every single way that Akuma Scimitars wants it to. I love the quick play, I love the aggression, and I love seeing them do exactly what Team Com's built to do.
Yeah, and they're just doing very well here. Once again, Ica opting for the decap. Nothing wrong with that. I love that item on Veigar. It's so great. Synergizes immensely with this passive. About 900 gold off of that at the moment. Take a look at Ica's passive stat here. Currently 208 AP from Phenomenal Evil Power. And 517 total. Showstopper popped in the top lane. Meanwhile, in mid lane, turret will fall. I'm not sure about that trade vaults in the top lane. I feel like you can just take that and not die when the Aatrox ults, but either way, it's a trade of ults.
I have to agree with you, though. I believe that the Showstopper is so much more of an impactful ultimate, and meanwhile, Aatrox's World Ender, while very helpful, has only a minute cooldown, actually less than that, with the Cloud Drakes. And speaking of, I'm wondering if Yukon can even try and contest this like they want to, because right now, you have such a colossal lead on the side of Akuma Scimitars that they're just being forced to give everything up. We see Shabug having to back up Arthritic Boomer running for his life from just these glacial augments.
Scorcher Blaze in a bit of trouble here. Spacebreaker does a bit, but is caught in the Veigar cage. Hide Haru on a rampage as Veigar tries to take it with the W.
See if they can survive this siege.
I just like to say, Mega Squad Veigar, all right. Still not as good as Final Boss Veigar, though.
I'll agree with you on that one, for sure. I'm hoping to see, speaking of this Veigar, I want to see
he gets the ult down, pulverized, goes slow, caught in the cage, just Kiss Me slow, but he will end up popping the ultimate to stay alive at the time, being flashed out of the way from Shabug as the Twin Shadows gets popped. Arthritic Boomer going to not just take the Arcane Chip, but also flash out of that Veigar cage, and the inhib will fall.
My goodness, Fennec, we are seeing this Veigar put in work. Colossal Chungus, definitely the star of the early game, finding kills that probably shouldn't have been found on the bot lane of Yukon B. Obviously putting them very far behind, but meanwhile, Ica has been a monster this game. Finding picks with the Glacial Augment, finding picks with that cage. Now 8-0-3 with the maximum gold bounty, and decap's completed now. This Veigar is sitting at over 700 AP at just a bit over 20 minutes.
715 AP, 223 stacks on passive. Can either go Zanya's or Void Staff next. There really isn't any itemization towards MR, so there's no reason to go Void Staff. So I expect the Zonus completion. But we'll see. ECE hits on Shabug, but he will be able to cleanse that one out. Meanwhile, Scorcher Blaze in a bit of trouble. Not going to get popped the Infernal Chains, but will still get knocked up by Hydaro and go down.
Torture Blaze just cannot afford to be doing this right now. Sure, you don't have a dragon or a baron that you need to contest, but why are you in your jungle with no vision, no flash, against a team with this Veigar tape who's constantly finding picks on you?
Well, meanwhile, Ica just goes legendaries, picks up the kill onto the Azir. Elton Johnson going in, getting the knockup. Veigar ultimate gets the kill onto the Ezreal. Haymaker extends the set's life a little bit longer, but he still falls. The ace comes down. And the game will go to Akuma Scimitars. They go up in the series 1-0.
And what a dominant showing here for Akuma Scimitars, especially Ica has to be shouted out over and over here. In the game 10-0-5, showing so much work on this Veigar. And once again, we've mentioned his champion Ocean that he has, and how he's just extending a little bit further now.
Yep. Add another win to the books for Akuma Scimitars. Of course, they won their first match in the lower bracket, so elimination match for both these teams. Yukon B got sent here from the upper bracket, so they definitely have what it takes to beat this Akuma squad. They've done it before. I want to see how they make those adjustments going into game 2 to hopefully take this to a third game.
Yeah, without a doubt, very excited to see what UConn is going to try and do. If there needs to be some mental adjustments as well, definitely going to be hard to come back after having such a rough game. But I'm excited to see what they can do. Hoping to see some adjustments here, and absolutely want to see a much stronger comeback in the next game.
Yeah, I definitely want to see Yukon B pull something else out. I think it started with the draft once again. I think draft order makes a much bigger difference the higher you go in terms of elo. You ended up getting counterpicked in the mid lane. That didn't go well for you. You ended up holding off your support pick for last. So maybe coach needs to, analyze the draft, realize what went wrong there, and start working towards the Game 2 draft. But before Game 2 starts, we have to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the Upsurge Minor League Losers Bracket Playoffs Round 2.
pro.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Upsurge Minor League Playoffs lower bracket round 2 matchup between the University of Connecticut Team B and Akuma Scimitars. Akuma Scimitars get a nice start to the series with a victory in game number 1, but we'll see how game number 2 plays out. My name is Fennec. Joining me on the desk today is the one and only Jacket. And how are we feeling going into the second game of the match?
I'm going to tell you, Frank, I'm excited to see what's going to happen here. We saw a bit of an unfortunate draft, as you mentioned, last game on the side of UConn B. I'm very interested to see how they plan around that. And more than anything, I'm going to be honest with you here, Frank. I want to see a Vhagar ban come out of UConn.
I don't know if you can ban out this man. I feel like I think you just ban counter matchups to whatever mid laner you want to play. If you're going to ban towards mid lane, right? Your blue side, you got to adapt like that. UConn, 15 seconds left for their first ban of the match. Let's see how they decide to draft this second game.
Seeing the Graves ban come out first shouldn't be super surprising considering some of the dominance in the jungle of recent, as well as Hyde Haru's prominence of playing him. But it looks like they are specifically trying to ban out their jungler this time around.
Graves, Olaf being banned away. Graves, Olaf were banned last game, so nothing too different from the previous game. We'll see if this is the Morgana ban once again, or if they decide to adapt here with these bans. Zed, Nocturne were the bans from last game for Akuma as well. I expect the third ban to be the Wukong, as UConn B have one more ban to do this first round. It's missed.
Supposed to have been the
Ezreal. Okay. I think it's fine to ban the Ezreal here. I don't think... Like, if you don't want to play it, and you know Akuma plays Ezreal Yuumi, it makes sense. Volibear being banned away here, though, does mean that the Wukong will go over on to Scorcher Blaze, and that is his most played jungler. Vhagar Rek'Sai already being picked up by Akuma here. This is very tricky, because Vhagar is not only in the mid lane.
Just as you put it, he's able to be flexed to the bottom lane as well. If there's some very odd and niche case, I'm sure he could go top 2, but that doesn't seem anywhere near as likely. But yeah, we could see him specifically bottom lane used as a carry. Would not be surprised to see that either. Colossal Chungus has shown that he's okay with playing a caster bottom lane. He actually has a game of Victor that he played bottom. So I gotta say, I like this by Akuma Scimitars, and I'm interested in seeing if this will be used as the flex.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense to use as a flex here. Your red side, you have the ability to flex this into 2, technically 3 positions. Vhagar support still technically exists. Blitzcrank being picked up by UConn. They have played this pick before. Kiss Me Slow did win on it. And we do see the Ashe for Arthritic Boomer once again. I think... or not once again, this time it's for UConn instead of Akuma, so that's kind of a pick away. Leona being picked up by Akuma here in the bot lane makes me feel even more like it's a bot lane Vhagar because you have the Leona, which does combo very well with him. Set being picked up for the, being banned away from UConn here. So different top lane pick for UConn being forced out of them this time around.
And curious with that Wukong, we haven't seen Fluoride play it yet. I would be very interested in seeing that, being able to be flexed around. Having it be shoehorned into the one role isn't something I can say I like too much, because just looking at Akuma Scimitars, we're seeing them unafraid to pick things they haven't picked before, they haven't shown before. And meanwhile, UConn sticking to a very traditional draft for them. I've got to say, I definitely am surprised by UConn not really seeming to change things up too much.
Yeah, and on top of that, right, you have Lissandra Set being banned away by Akuma. So Lissandra means to me that they probably want to pick... I was going to say something like Yasuo. They want to pick an assassin in the mid lane. Picking the Yasuo makes a lot of sense.
Can always be Yasuo ADC. However, definitely not on Colossal Chungus's previous games, so I would expect that to be Yasuo mid, and that would mean that IKEA would actually have a repeat mid if this is the Yasuo mid lane. So, maybe that's it. I feel like when you bundle Lissandra, that's what you're telegraphing. Sylas being picked up by Yukon here, so they're going to go mono in that mid lane. This is a pick that Shabug has played a bit of before, as they pick their top laner here.
I'm interested to see what they do. Sylas can be flexed to that top lane, but considering that Akuma Scimitars have not shown theirs yet, as well as the fact that Fluoride has not yet played a game of Sylas, there we go. Kind of answers our own question. Was not expecting to see it singed. Definitely a comfort pick for Fluoride, seen it picked 4 other times. But if I'm being honest here, I don't know that I love the Sylas ult too much. Yasuo is definitely considered to be very strong against him. He likes those long, drawn-out skirmishes just as much as Sylas, if not more. And not only that, all Sylas can do to try and fight the Yasuo post-level 6 is steal his ultimate, knock him up with his own Abscond Abduct, and then use the last breath. But Yasuo can block not only the chains from his E with the Wind Wall, but from the ultimate steal as well.
Yeah, on top of that, right, you see Wukong does have the knockup available, so you can technically turn Cyclone plus a hijacked Last Breath into a combo as well, or a Blitzcrank knockup. But yeah, definitely not the best matchup for Sylas. I think it's more comfort, and this one I think is more of a skill matchup, if I'm being honest. Sylas can win if the Sylas is good enough. We see the Cinch being picked on the top lane. Of course, we already mentioned that's comfort. With the GP being picked up by Akuma, though, I don't think this necessarily is a counterpick to the Singed.
I would agree with that. I think from seeing Akuma Scimitar's gameplay from the last game, all of their laners seem okay with forgoing the lead of their own lane to help other lanes out. The GP here seems to be a more selfless pick on the side of Oven Johnson, looking to generally help around the map with ultimate, especially with that bottom lane. Leona's Solar Flare and Veigar's Event Horizon cage being used together can just keep that bottom lane sealed up inside of a full Gangplank ultimate, which could quite easily turn a fight in their favor.
Yeah, especially if the fight obviously doesn't start in their favor. But if a fight starts in their favor, they have a lot of very good tools to do that. They have Rek'Sai, they have Yasuo, both of whom have very good engage tools, especially if Yasuo ends up going the 2 crit items into Sterix gauge build. I would like to see that from the Yasuo, as it looks to be. The Yasuo is actually going to be picked up ADC, as Aika is on the Veigar. However, they can be swapped. So before we talk about the mid and bot lane matchups, because those technically aren't locked in, we can talk a bit about the jungle. It's going to be the Wukong versus the Rek'Sai.
I definitely think Wukong is so underpicked right now, especially in, for the most part, just all of North America. We don't see much in LCS nor LCS Academy, and when we do, he doesn't seem to do too well. But meanwhile, in a lot of other regions, he's found a ton of success, especially here. Obviously, Scorcher Blaze super comfortable on it. I think he's very strong into almost everyone. He's strong early, he's strong mid, he was very well late. And into this Rek'Sai, the one advantage that Haru does have here is that Tremor Sense will show if Scorcher Blaze tries to escape with the decoy, and to try and fool the enemy team, to try and escape. That's something that Haru can see, he can scope out. And as you mentioned, also, we are seeing the swap come out last second. Colossal Chungus and Aika are each on the picks that we thought they would be.
Yeah, Yasuo in the mid lane for Aika, Veigar in the bot lane for Colossal Chungus. We already kind of touched on the Sylas Yasuo matchup, so moving on to the bot lane matchup, we have this Ashe Blitzcrank versus the Veigar Leona. This Ashe Blitzcrank gives me memories of back when I was a young bronze League of Legends player in season 6. It's very near and dear to my heart. Not really. How do you feel about this bot lane matchup?
Well, it seems very much so. It seems like a volatile matchup to me here. You have the Veigar Leona can absolutely chain crowd control very well. As soon as Leona lands a Zenith Blade, gets the stun off from that Q, Veigar uses the cage as well. That is multiple seconds of CC that you are just not moving. But meanwhile, the Ashen Blitzcrank, Ash can slow with her volley, allow Blitzcrank to gap close with his W, and use his hook, use his knockup, and get that initial CC, especially post 6, when Ash has that Enchanted Crystal Arrow available. It just seems to come down to which side will take that initiative and force a favorable fight.
Yeah, and favorable fights really the name of the game for, I think, either of these comps. I think early you're looking at very even lanes, so it's going to be on this Rek'Sai and this Wukong to force unfavorable fights in these kind of first 15 minutes. Moving on to the mid game, though, what do you see these teams spreading out to as their win conditions?
I definitely see a 1-3-1 in mind for the side of Akuma Scimitars. You have Veigar, Leona, and Rek'Sai, all of whom really enjoy a composition like that, combined with the Gangplank and Yasuo. You have the Yasuo who likes to skirmish, likes to 1v1, the Gangplank as well, has that global influence with his ultimate, and Rek'Sai specifically can scout out anyone trying to flank or force something onto the three of them. But meanwhile, I think that Yukon definitely wants to team fight, steal that Yasuo ult or that Gangplank ult like you mentioned, and use that combined with the Wukong to run the team fight over.
All that being said, though, here at Upsurge, we are very thankful for our sponsors. And sponsor for game number 2, of course, is Kono Keyboard. If you're looking to take your game to the next level, it all starts with your peripherals. From keyboards to keycaps, mice, and more, our friends at Kono have got you covered. Kono works with the world's best designers, inventors, and marketers to bring you some of the best gaming peripherals around. Kono have been huge supporters of us here at Upsurge and have made generous contributions to our prize pools. If you need to find a new keyboard, check out the Hex Gears X-Tech 1 RGB low-profile Bluetooth mechanical keyboard. You can use our discount code UpsurgeGG for 7% off your first order. For more information, head over to kono.store to check out all they have to offer. That's KONO.store. Kono, discover amazing products.
Gave you too much, now I'm swallowed. Now I'm the fool while you're breaking rules. Dangerous path that I follow. Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it as I bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. As I bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. cold to the touch. Am I insane not to let go? Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it hurts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Upsurge Minor League Playoffs lower bracket round 2 matchup between University of Connecticut B and Akuma Scimitars. My name is Finnick. Joining me on the desk today is Jacket. And level 1 looks a bit spicy. You got the Blitzcrank invade towards the top side of the map for UConn B.
Definitely like to see this aggressive start from them. Not quite like what we saw the last game, especially this team comp going to be very good. Oven Johnson not quite recognizing the danger he's in.
I think he saw the sweeper flash barely out of the hook.
Very good flash. I actually didn't think that Kiss Me Slow got that vision in time to see that going on. But yeah, great advantage already for UConn B. I'm very interested to see how they try and make this Singed pick work, especially now that we know the Gangplank has his flash down. And they have vision of this top side. They know where Haru is going to be starting. And I'm interested to see how Fluoride specifically plays around it. If he's going to try and proxy like the average Singed player does. And right here, it's looking like it.
Yeah, it's proxy farming from the Singed. Nothing too unexpected. We'll get pinged out there. I think it's actually pretty optimal to do this against GP in particular. He doesn't really have good ways to punish you for proxy farming, especially because he doesn't have any sort of movement abilities to get onto you while you pop a poison trail. And of course, breaking rule number 1 in League of Legends is a cardinal sin, punishable by death, and gets you sent to the 9th circle of hell. So, yeah, don't break rule number 1, and if you do, casters will flame you.
I'm definitely hoping that we see at least someone break it during this game. I gotta say, right now, most of the action on the map was just that Blitzcrank hook in the top side. Fluoride playing a much more completion game. He knows that Haru was up that way. Going to get spotted out on the board, though. And
Ignite and flash earned. Yeah, Shabug forced to flash. Ika getting a nice Ignite down. I feel like Shabug should be able to heal most of that back up, obviously, with the Kingslayer. It's just, Wave was in a very bad position, and the trade ended up being favorable for Ika due to that. As we see a bit of a slow push towards tower from Akuma Scimitars. This won't be a freeze, unfortunately, and I think they should be able to freeze it in front of their own tower if UConn B is not careful here.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how each lane wants to play with their junglers. Right now, we're seeing Scorcher plays clear towards his top side. Might be looking to go aggro on this GP. You mentioned a lack of mobility before. Definitely could come into play here. Singe has great pick potential, especially with the Ghost and Predator. Changes have been made. So once this Singe picks up his Predator, he'll have immediate access to
nice
it.
hook. Cage goes down. Flash. He's still taken down by the Ash. First blood going over to Arthritic Boomer. Looking for trouble. Make double. Knockup lands on a mini milk. Double kill for Arthritic Boomer.
That
was really well done. That was really well done from Kiss Me Slow.
Without a doubt, we're seeing why he likes his Blitzcrank, why it was such a quick pick for them. Didn't say it the last time. And a really great advantage grab already by the bot lane of UConn B. Excited to see how it goes with the tables now being turned. Arthritic Boomer on this Ash. 2-0. Very similar start to last game, just on the other shoe. Or shoe on the other foot, rather.
I mean, both times it was the Ash. Oven Johnson gonna try to cut out of the way. Pops the barrel, gets a nice slowdown onto both members. Trying to make his way towards the Yasuo. And is gonna be spotted out. Nice dodge out of trouble from Oven Johnson. Pops the Ghost, but that is not Flash, and it has a much lower cooldown.
I definitely expect to see more of this from UConn B on the top side. Should spot Haru on this ward, see if Fluoride is able to absolutely spots that one out. Playing it very safe here on the top side. But that being said, I expect Scorcher Blaze to spend a lot of time and attention up here. They know that Oven Johnson won't have Flash for a little bit longer. As you mentioned, Fluoride, very low cooldown on that Ghost. Predator as well is going to mean he will run this Gangplank down, no questions asked, and potentially pick up some very easy kills if he ever overextends.
Yeah, and on top of that, right, you have everyone's favorite Righteous Glory. Oh, very nice windfall from Aika. Oh, that, as you were talking about before the game, right? The ability to windwall, the abduct power, the abscond abduct is just so nice. And Aika just shows it right there.
Well, exactly. It's such a large part of Silas's trade pattern. It has 100% AP scaling thrown onto it ever since.
On the cage, here comes Leona though. Finds his way on to Arthritic Boomer, flash in on to the Vagar though. But Leona getting some damage onto the Ashe. Colossal Chungus down to 200 health. Gonna be taken down very low. Here comes Scorcher Blaze. Zenith Blade to try to get out, but he will still go down. Knockout lands onto the Vagar. Colossal Chungus, not long for the world. Able to get a stun down, but still pulled back into his own cage. And the double kill arrives for Scorcher Blaze.
I gotta say, I'm really surprised to see the table is having turned so quickly here in this game. We're seeing Kiss Me Slow put in work on this Blitzcrank. Really excited. Hoping that his play continues from him, and I really just want to see this ball lane explode on the side of Yukon B after their rough game last game. I really like how much they're making up for it this time around.
Yeah, really, really nice tempo swing going their way. Of course, they have better mid game, but worse late game, so they really need to keep forcing the tempo here, going in towards the later stage of the laning phase, in towards mid game. Of course, 2-0 and 0 on the Wukong, 2-0 and 2 on the Ashe definitely helps there.
Oh, mid lane.
Shabug knocked up into the last breath, ignited down, and Shabug goes down to Aika. That's one on the board for Akuma Scimitars. And you have to respect the Rek'Sai Yasuo combo on that level 6.
Gotta feel a little bad for Shabug there. Didn't even have a chance to react to that. Once he saw the Rek'Sai, he tried to dash away, got slowed up by that Chilling Smite, knocked up, Yasuo ulted, can't move, and next thing you know, you're dead. We even mentioned the interaction where that hijack can be stopped by the wind wall, and we saw it right there. Shabug has no ultimate stolen, but his ultimate still's on cooldown.
Yeah, we are continuing throughout this laning phase. Only about 700 gold up for Yukon B, though. Quite a bit of farm advantage happening on the top side for the GP, actually ahead of the Singed at the moment, as the Yasuo does also have a nice gold lead for himself in the mid lane. It's really just the bot and the jungle, and specifically the bot lane. Ashe almost 1,000 gold up on the Vagar for the side of Yukon B.
Gets
me
me
slow.
in trouble here.
Oh, Arthritic Boomer. ECE gonna miss. Here comes the Wukong, though, with the Cyclone. Gonna get caught in the cage, though. Mini Milk stays alive. Meanwhile, Shabug in a 2v1 in the mid lane, flashing out of the way, but here comes the Rek'Sai ultimate, able to get it. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Arthritic Boomer goes on a killing spree. 1-for-1 across the map.
And we're seeing a repeat on both sides here from both teams. If it's worked before, why not do it again? Scorcher Blaze recognizing that the bottom lane of Akuma is a little too far up, and meanwhile, Haidharu, Aika, once again coordinating that gank in the middle lane, Shabug nowhere left to run, and I'm just expecting to see this happen over and over again, if I'm being honest here, Finnan.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Mini Milk could be looking to get some vision here, make sure that Haru has a clear path. I want to see this bottom side get vision warded by the whole team of Akuma to adjust around Scorcher Blaze to allow for Haru to move around more freely, especially with the first dragon having already gone over to Yukon. They need to start winning more of that vision game if they want to start getting more advantages.
Yeah, meanwhile, the top one, though, Oven Johnson might be in a bit of trouble. Here comes the Wukong, flip back in by the Singe. Down goes the GP. Scorcher Blaze on a killing spree.
Very much so how we spoke about it. Very cut and dry. Singed running you down with the Predator. Already has tier 2 boots. Meanwhile, the Gangplank has nothing to help him out. just gets run down, thrown back to the Wukong. Sure, he has flashed, but why even use it at that point? Oh, bottom lane.
Cage lands. Here comes Haru trying to find his way onto the Ashe. Gets the knockup flash out of the way. Leon was already there with the Solar Flare. GP pops Cannon Barrage. Able to get the assist, and the Ashe goes down. Kiss Me Slow will be the next one to follow. W from the Veigar will miss. Going to try to speed himself up, but he's heading right back into the cage. Colossal Chungus picks up kill with Q.
Even gets that little extra chance to stack up some more of that pep in his step. I'm liking what I'm seeing here from both teams. Seeing a bit of a reversal here. Haru now favoring that bot side, while Scorcher Blaze going from top side. Looking at Rift Herald, though, this is a big pickup for Yukon.
Indeed. Able to try to push the tempo. They're now 600 gold back, but they know that they need to push more going into this mid game. They just need to find the right ways to do it. They need to get on the Ashe. They need to get on Scorcher Blaze. Meanwhile, two-man last
Goodness.
again, but here comes Haru. Gonna get the knock-up to disengage, but the Cyclone was enough. Down goes the Yasuo. Down goes the Rek'Sai, but she will be able to get a kill first. That's 2 for 1. Favor Yukon B.
Looked like Aiko was going to make the huge play there, but unfortunately, Wukong is able to spin to win much better, no matter how fancy you look as the Yasuo.
Yeah. A little bit of a reprieve for Yukon B, for sure.
Yeah, definitely a cute showing of mechanics there from Aika, getting the knockup, using the Air Blade, I believe, as it is, with Blast Breath to combine an EQ in, but still Haru too far out to actually assist to layer that CC, and it just led to them getting picked off one at a time. And now, 4, 1, and 2 Scorcher Blaze, staying very pretty on that first jungle enchant. Still has the Rift Herald. I'm wanting to see him get some tempo and look for this dragon. They know where
Lands,
they are.
though.
And there it is.
Boss Chungus goes down. They pop the Rift Herald. They're going to be able to move towards this Mountain Dragon, take their second for the game.
Exactly what they needed to do. And bit by bit, we're seeing them claw ahead, grab these little advantages. Not as clean as Akuma Scimitar was last game in that early game, but definitely hitting their stride, finding that right pace for them. And even Shabug, the person who's supposed to have been losing his lane, still doing his best to keep up in CS, and obviously put enough pressure to force Aika to stay in that
Knock
lane.
up on Arctic Boomer, though. He goes down. TP being channeled from the Singe. Not breaking rule 1, though, because they get the stun down. Here comes the knockup. GP pops the Cannon Barrage. Fluoride goes very low, but Scorcher Blaze able to get onto Mini Milk. The double kill goes through as they get on to the Rek'Sai. 2 for 1 in the bot lane.
Whole side of Yukon is there, looking to hook.
Nope.
Trading flash for flash, never a really bad thing for a Blitzcrank. Decisive Spark looks for it.
And he gets it.
Easy pickup there, using that Primordial Burst, stolen from the Veigar. Going to be some tower plates turned over to the side of Akuma Scimitars, but not too much. Arctic Boomer already there to take back mid lane for Shabug.
Yasuo, just doing Yasuo things, clearing up Scuttle Crabs.
He can outplay that one.
Here comes Laika.
Looking aggressive.
On a Shabug, knockup lands, flash down, here comes the last breath, and Shabug gets Summoner Heal, gets out, here comes the re-engage, Cyclone down, Mini Milk, gonna get caught by the Abscond, abducted into the Chain Lash, and he goes down! Shabug on a killing spree, and Arctic Boomer picks up the support.
And this is huge on the side of Yukon. 7, 1, and 4 for Scorcher Blaze. Look at that gold lead, over 1,000 on the opposing jungler. And this is for the jungler who's finding objectives, who's sacrificing his own jungle to make sure he's getting his team ahead. And he's not falling behind at all.
Chungus ends up popping the stopwatch, stay alive for the time being. Here comes Haru, though, pops the ultimate down onto Fluoride, gets some damage down as the GLP gets used. But here comes the TP. Haru down to about 150 health as Shabug makes his presence known.
Game's getting a little messy here. We're starting to see Akuma Scimitar.
Flare Rek'Sai ults back out, but the ult comes back from Shitdog. Now here comes Zenith Blade, finding on to Kiss Me Now, but it will be a 1-for-1 trade. Scorcher Blaze gonna try to find the second proc of the Cyclone, ends up flashing regardless. Caught in the GLP, knockup lands, but it will be traded back, and the shutdown lands. Double kill for Colossal Chungus, and they're now with a 1k gold lead.
Disaster for Yukon B, striking as they look for a play, everything falling apart, and suddenly Akuma Scimitar finds their way back in this game, has an avenue for success, and already pinging this Rift Herald, looking to get back in this game as quickly as possible.
Yeah, apologies for the technical difficulties. Apparently Discord just didn't want anyone to be heard throughout that entire thing, including that fight. It's a feels bad, man. But, alas, poor Yorick. No, not the right context for that co-op. Anyway, Hydeharu picks up the Rift Herald here towards the top side of the main. Top side of the map. Not the top side of the meme. The top side of the meme would be the first part of the meme. The second part would be the bottom text. Speaking of memes, don't chase singed people. It's not a good idea.
I'm really surprised, speaking of this Singe pick, to see how far has been playing with his team, finding picks with the Ghost and Predator, using that Rylai's to find slows. But meanwhile, our third Boomer, speaking of slows, has been trying to make picks happen with that Enchanted Crystal Arrow, with that volley. But unfortunately, we saw that backfired last time. It's been working for them, but this time around, Akuma Scimitars adjusted, came all together, were able to actually repel an attempt from Kiss Me Slow to try and make that pick. I'm really interested to see if this is something they can continue to do, if they want to keep trying to play around this Blitzcrank, spot him out, prevent him from actually picking out their priority teammates, and I think that's exactly what they need to do.
All that being said, though, definitely a good thing for Yukon B to pick up the Dragon. Akuma Scimitars nowhere near, weren't able to contest. Now the next one is Soul Point. That is going to be the Ocean Soul, the most powerful soul in the game, according to pretty much everyone. That said, Akuma Scimitars, they need to get prior towards this Dragon for the next ones. They have stronger fighting potential now that they have this gold lead. They need to make sure that these get the proper fights around the Dragon. Nice knock up from the Yasuo as the Rift Herald gets channeled in the mid lane.
Essentially looking to knock down this tier 1 tower.
Rip, hit me slow. Zenith Blade into the ult from the Veigar. QW will be enough. Here comes Scorcher Blaze. Flash pops out of Mini Milk as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow did swing wide a couple seconds ago.
Starting to see once again how this Veigar is coming into play against the side of Yukon B. Still struggling to find an answer for the cage. Can't stop the Event Horizon from finding pick after pick. Kiss Me Slow did have Flash there, but opted not to use it to try and escape that. I'm hoping to see a pick, some reason that Kiss Me Slow didn't use Flash right there. But otherwise, Akuma Scimitars actually succeeding in their objective, knocking down that tier 1 tower, helping to open up the map for these upcoming objectives.
Yeah. Meanwhile, taking a look at item builds, Fluoride opts for the Righteous Glory second item, it looks like. Pops the Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Not something I typically will see on a Singed. I feel like when you want to build an AP item, you don't go for that one first. You're typically going to go for something like a Shirelia's, right? But still, not a bad item. And definitely synergizes well with the Poison Trail.
Speaking of builds here, while he is not by any means 0-10, we are seeing Ica get close to that Yasuo power spike, has the Phantom Dancer complete, has the BF Sword, the Cloak of Agility, sitting with a bit over 1,300 gold in his pocket, should have enough to get this IE, and that will be a very large power spike for the side of Akuma Scimitars.
Yeah, IE, very nice for Ica. I want to see some faith put into the Veigar here from the Yasuo, and for him to get the Sterix gauge. I feel like that would be very nice for these backline dives, especially when you have the peel of Kiss Me Slow and Fluoride both. Just giving you the extra shield and the tankiness that that item gives you. We'll see how Ica decides to build that, though. As we take a look at the GP, building into the Essence Reaver second item after the completed Trinity Force.
I'm not gonna lie here, Finnick. While we're talking about items, I've noticed a few times here, Arthritic Boomer definitely has some very aggressive positioning, is on an immobile AD carry. I get that he has that flash, he has that cleanse, but it seems like due to that aggressive positioning, there have been a few mistakes already made, and I keep seeing these moments, the Twin Shadows almost reach Arthritic Boomer while out of position. This Veigar could very well, as you mentioned, be that avenue back into the game that Akuma Scimitars is looking for.
I mean, they're already 3K up. They've already found their way back into the game. It's just, can they close it out? Can they get the neutral objectives? Kiss Me Slow, caught in the cage. Ends up taking some damage from the Veigar W.
Hijack also
W misses. Yep. Zeke's Convergence is completed on the Blitzcrank as well, so has some magic resist, able to tank up a little bit of the Veigar damage at the moment. But we wait to see how Colossal Chungus builds. It looks like he's going to go for the Zonu Zaraglass before decap. Not a bad item this particular game, especially because you're looking to go late. You're going to get the decap anyway. That said, dragging out 23 seconds. Hook lands on the high Haru. That's not how you want Cheap, but he still falls super quickly. But the 4-man Solar Flare lands, and that's going to be a huge amount of damage on the Scorcher Blaze. He will fall down as Oven Johnson tries to find his way. Kiss Me Slow, looking for the hook, but he won't find it. Colossal Chungus flashing forward, able to get a cage down. Fluoride falls. Arthritic Boomer might be the next. Here comes the Yasuo. Here comes the last breath. He's able to get it, but the 2-man Cyclone already hits. The shutdown lands onto the Veigar, but he still will get chased in by the Tornado. Goes down, 4 for 2 in favor of Akuma Scimitars, and they pick up their first dragon of the game.
And this was UConn B's game to lose, remember. 10 minutes ago, there was not a single lead that Akuma Scimitars had across the map. Now, as you mentioned, already almost 4K gold up on the competition. Kiss Me, that is not something you want to do. You don't want to grab someone out of the pit, look for a bit of a cheeky dragon steal there, not going to find it. And now, Akuma Scimitars staying very pretty here. Colossal Chungus being the only one to go down, while meanwhile, 4 members of UConn B taken out.
Haru also went down that fight. He just respawned, but he's a Rek'Sai, so he's already, you know, halfway through the map. Looks like nothing happened. That said, Zona's Hourglass completed on Colossal Chungus here. Should be going into the Rabadon's Death Cap next item. And then finally, Void Staff. There is some MR stacking starting to occur, with the Aegis completed on Scorcher Blaze going into the Death's Dance. Zeke's Convergence already on the Blitzcrank as well. I almost want to see Arthritic Boomer get, after the IE, a little bit of MR himself, but we'll see how the Ashe goes.
Definitely a Quicksilver Sash would be an amazing item against this team comp. You have the cleanse already. Why not have a second one?
Oh no, Fluoride. Ica just waiting patiently. Here comes the ult from the Singed, as well as the Ghost. So an ult and the Ghost down. They do not break rule number 1. 0 rule number 1 break. I am so happy. I just cast or cursed it, didn't I?
You may very well have, but not going to be easy to say just yet. Baron Nashor now has spawned, present on the map. A lot of vision on the top side here from both teams. But meanwhile, Scorcher Blaze will be shown on the bottom side of the map. And quite honestly, if Akuma Scimitars want, they can go to rush this Baron. There's not a jungler there to contest it. And definitely one of many reasons why you do not want to have that jungler on the bottom side when Baron Nashor spawns.
Yeah, and this is going to be very, very close when it comes to these neutral objectives. Once again, 1 dragon for UConn B is the soul, and that can be a power swing, even when you're down this far. So you got to be very careful. And as you mentioned, Baron control matters so much for both of these teams. At the moment, I think you get 1 more good fight for Akuma Scimitars. They can get Baron and take all the T2s. We'll see how they play this one out.
And definitely scary, especially having to posture around these objectives. On the one hand, oh my
Haru
goodness,
caught up, knock up lands, Rek'Sai ultimate stolen, ends up popping the ult back into the cage. Here comes Kiss Me Slow, taken down very low. Rek'Sai ultimate will be popped from the Silas, but he still goes down as Canterbury gets popped. Here comes the Cyclone, gets 1. Oven Johnson actually got the kill for that second pop of the Cyclone, but he still falls.
Oven Johnson on another. Mini Milk gets a nice team to play down into the sun, onto Fluoride, the knockout. The ultimate from the Oslo gets pulled back though, goes down. Singe picks up the kill, but they're keeping on chasing. That's rule number 1 violation. No, it's not. Never mind, they stopped chasing. 3 for 1. Favor of Akuma Scimitars. They can move on to the Dragon. They can move on to the Baron. Dragon has not spawned yet. They won't move on to the Baron though. They're just gonna take some vision.
And definitely going to be difficult to take that Baron down while you have the Veigar. Yasuo, the main form of DPS on your team, did just fall. However, being able to push this tier 2 tower now, that will be tower number 4 for the side of Akuma Scimitars, opening up the map further, getting extra vision, playing the game as they need to, slowly, patiently, and it's paying dividends for them. We're seeing even what should have been a favorable pick on the side of Yukon B turn into an advantageous fight from that quick collapse of Akuma Scimitar.
Yeah, Sierra's Cage completed on Hyde Haru. I really like this itemization here from the Rex side. We see the Death Stance coming out from Ica as well. And look at that triple XX. Not wanting to deal with the Silas at all. I feel like this may be a little bit much as far as excess go, but at least you're not building Morellas on the Veigar when he desperately needs decap, so not going to flame that one too hard. Dragon spawning, 30 seconds.
Oh, once again, we're seeing this Veigar Finnick just be the downfall of Yukon B. They're having a lot of...
It's not even Ica's Veigar. It's Colossal Chungus.
Exactly, and we're seeing how both of them can play very effectively, flex this pick, and again, not that Yukon B
Oh, nice cage. Scorcher Blaze though is able to get out. GP pops the ultimate, trying to keep everybody in the way of the cage. Hook lands though. They got onto the GP. Stun lands on the Veigar though. On to 2. He picks up 1 kill, but here comes the Cyclo. Trying to find a Rek'Sai, pops the ultimate, but he still gets taken down by the Wukong. Meanwhile on the side, Ica in a bit of trouble in a 1v1 versus Bug. Bug ends up picking up the kill. Arthritic Boomer meanwhile on to Mini Milk, picks up the kill as well. The ace comes through and the soul goes over to University of Connecticut B.
And this is not good if you are a fan of Akuma Scimitars here. This is the exact opposite of that last fight. Kiss Me Slow going down, but meanwhile, your entire team falls. Ocean Soul now over to the side of Yukon B, and because you did not push that Baron, because you didn't go for that objective, because you didn't want to trade it either, you're now losing both of them.
Yeah, 5 seconds on the Rex side. This is not old Rex side, so can't just ult in and try to steal on the way. And that will be nice swing in favor of University of Connecticut B. They still are down about 1,000 gold, but that doesn't really matter as we approach the 39-minute mark. Let me tell you, this game getting a bit spicy as we go late. Of course, you still have to worry about Yasuo Veigar GP scaling, but with the Ocean Soul, that mitigates a lot of that threat.
Especially with the picks that you have, this Wukong so dominant, already has maybe I was going for that Stair Axe. We saw how helpful that was for Haru. When you put that on a Wukong who's already very far ahead, only going to help that much more. And Silas as well, since that mini rework, meant to scale up. His E, as we mentioned, 100% AP scaling. But that being said, being a melee assassin that's not named Cassidy in the late game can be a little difficult. Interested to see, though, we've talked a good bit about it. Now that you don't have that Baron, you don't have that Dragon up for a little while, and you have to wait out that Baron buff from Yukon B, I'm very interested to see what it is that Akuma Scimitars want to do. They should play around where Yukon B wants to siege. They should use this Veigar pick, maximum effectiveness, use that Event Horizon to push Yukon B off of those objectives, try and stop this Baron push as best as possible to not bleed out resources. We'll have to see what they do here.
And Cage on the Fluoride, not necessarily the target you want, but he gets a nice GLP down. Here comes the TP. We want to push in on to the tower.
And oh my goodness, that GP wave clear. Those barrels are starting to hit, Finnick.
Yep.
Quiet here, tension rising a little bit. Don't want to give away anyone's position here. Kiss Me Slow, though, is lurking, looking for the pick. And this is just so dangerous, though, being in this jungle, because it goes both ways, right? Because you have this blitzcrank, you can look at these picks, but meanwhile, there's also the Veigar.
And a crystal arrow. Oh, so close.
We were
I
playing
haven't
football,
seen
though.
like, I haven't seen any arrows hit from either Ashe this series, if I'm being honest. I mean, a couple have, but like, there have been a lot of good dodges.
Without a doubt, Four-Eyed may have gotten overextended. I don't think they can catch him, though. Already so speedy. Popped his ultimate, but it actually wasn't that Righteous Glory that we thought. He went Dead Man's Plate second, and we're just seeing how it's coming to play for him. This Singed is zooming.
And he has the Landry's as well. Landry's I really like on Singed. I think it's a really, really good item. When you're going more towards the AP, we see the cloth armor being built as well by Fluoride, so we'll see what it decides to go for the next item. Going for this kind of hybrid tank with a little bit of damage build from the Singe. Hesitate to say Bruiser, because none of these are considered AP Bruiser items. Oven Johnson dodges the hook. 2 minutes and 14 seconds on the one and only Elder Dragon. Baron up in 2 minutes 37, so objectives about 30 seconds apart. We're going to see a fight around then, as the gold is dead even in this late game.
And not just will we potentially see a fight, we may see the game-winning fight here momentarily.
You need to wait for the Veigar to hit. Oh no! Also Chungus hooked him, but he flashed up the wall. Here comes Fluoride though, able to get a slow down. Wukong in with the Cyclone. Gets on Naharu, but the knockback's already there. Fluoride, second of the Cyclone, but Chungus stays alive with the Zody's Hourglass, pops the ultimate, but he's still not able to get any kills. Now, Scorcher Blade trying to get some damage down. He does. Shabug gets slain. He does not actually. He gets the kill, but regardless, 4-0 in favor of Akuma Scimitars, or in favor of Yukon B. Akuma Scimitars lost that fight. I am losing my voice right now, as this game has gone back and forth, but right now it's firmly in favor of Yukon B.
And we may very well see this go to the game 3. Still 30 seconds on the death timer of Ica. 15 left on Mini Milk. You gotta wonder why our third Boomer and Shabug are not helping to try and push down these Nexus towers. Could be difficult though with no Baron buff and the GP still alive. And Owen Johnson might be finding someone Kiss Me Slow.
Yeah, Kiss Me Slow. That was a beautiful hook onto the Veigar to start that fight. They're able to get 2 towers, 2 inhibs. Veigar respawns. They're gonna go for the reset on the map. 40 seconds until Elder Drake, and that's gonna be the game decider, I think. You can still... Yeah, go ahead.
I was just say, without a doubt, Elder Dragon, that burn, that execute, especially with the team that Yukon B has, you can poke with that Ashe, engage with that Blitzcrank, or, quite frankly, we talk about the Liantries. The burn combined with the Rylai's, maximizing the damage with Singed. Now put an Elder Dragon burn on top of that, and suddenly, the guy who's just been running around like a maniac is potentially one of the biggest threats on the team.
Yeah. Arthritic Boomer now, with the Bloodthirster, building into a second Zeal item. Veigar currently sitting at 715 gold, so won't have the death cap completed. Still about 400 gold off that one.
Ooh,
going into the next fight. Yep.
Spotted out.
And now, yeah, it's... They're going to start on this. They know they have vision priority. I might just bait it. Ooh, blind hook. Not going to get onto Chungus. Mini Milk gets the ult stolen. 2 solar flares now available.
And right
GLP
now,
is a bit short.
they just need patience on the side of Yukon B. You've got 2 inhibitors. Superminions are already close to that base. Kiss Me Slow wants to start something, but right now, Superminions will just keep pushing, and the longer that both teams wait, the closer Superminions get, the more at risk your base is. Akuma Scimitars, you cannot keep doing this dance around this dragon.
Yeah, and they know it. GP's gonna back, get the wave cleared down. That does mean the Drake should be started here. Hook, a little bit short. Chloride puts down the poison. The GLP will slow him down. Is this how it ends?
Not with the Thunderous, also with the Whimper. Here comes Haru trying to find a way down, but the Cyclone's already onto the back line. But he is taken down very low. Scorcher Blaze goes on a killing spree. He will end up being traded as Arthritic Boomer goes on a rampage. Get the kill on the Rek'Sai. No one's fallen from Yukon B. That's 2, that's 3, that's the triple kill and the ace. The game goes to University of Connecticut B. And Akuma Scimitars go into game 3.
And this is going to be quite a series here, Finnick. Game to each team, both now finding their respective leads, playing their games, and now it's actually Akuma Scimitars on the back foot. They need to find a way back into this series. While meanwhile, Yukon B happy to pick up this first victory.
I wasn't 100% on their comp, but the early game for them was very nice. They made their way back in after Akuma Scimitars ended up building up a lead through that mid to late game, especially around that last Ocean Dragon fight. And that goes back to the early game, right? Very good early dragon control. University of Connecticut B forced that fight around that last dragon, and really well played from them from a macro perspective, early and late especially.
Without a doubt, super well played. Both teams definitely put up a good fight. Akuma Scimitars almost found their way back in, but unfortunately lost a few of those key fights, and it all just went downwards from there. I'm excited to see how they bring it back, though, in game 3. And what else is there to say, Finnick?
We're going to game 3, boys! See you after the break.
Gave you too much, now I'm swallowed. Now I'm the fool while you're breaking rules. Dangerous path that I follow. Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it as I bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. As I bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. All of the pain seems to follow like a shadow, dark and cold to the touch. Am I insane not to let go? Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it hurts as I bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. As I bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Upsurge Minor League Playoffs Losers Bracket Round 2 matchup between Akuma Scimitars and University of Connecticut B. It's game 3 now. Winner take all. Go on to the next round. Loser gets eliminated from the tournament. Akuma on the blue side, Yukon on the red side. My name is Fennec. Joining me on the Destiny's jacket. Are you hyped?
Well, I don't know if I'm that hyped, but but my goodness, what a series we have had so far, Finnick. 1-1, as you mentioned, already to round 3. This is going to be an explosive match. Both teams having some very strong showings during their victories, and even during that last defeat, Akuma Scimitars almost clawed their way back up into the game, almost won it. Not quite, though. Interested to see how they're going to adapt going forward, what they're going to choose differently. And last game I mentioned that it seemed like Yukon was struggling to adjust to that Vagar, but quite frankly, seemed they adjusted pretty well by the end of that last game.
Yeah, definitely. Bans coming out this game. Akuma, respect banning the Wukong once again. I think this was definitely something that they should have banned in the previous game. They knew how comfortable the pick was. I don't think their bans in game number 1 were needed any sort of readjustment, so I'm glad to see them come back with a Wukong ban. Yukon, meanwhile, Graves Olaf being banned away. Last one will be the Ash, so not wanting to play that, as they probably fear that Akuma will first pick it, considering both teams want to play that particular champion. Akuma with the first pick, though.
I have to see what they want here. Most likely going to be seeing an AD carry, a support, and or the jungler. And
Volibear.
We're seeing Volibear.
Yeah, definitely going to be jungle for them. We have not seen them play Volibear top, so Hideharu on the Volibear feels nice. Ezreal set being picked up from Yukon. So a little bit of salty run back of the game number 1 draft from them. As we see Kaisa Karma being picked up by Akuma. Interesting to see Kaisa in this meta, especially up against Ezreal. You don't know how many tanks are going to be on the Yukon side, so I don't think it's necessarily the best pickup here. But a lot of AD carries find comfort in that particular champion, and that might be what Akuma's going for.
Without a doubt. And it's just like you mentioned, Yukon, it definitely does seem like the salty runback. Set Ezreal Trundle, all in that first game. Despite that loss, though, Yukon does seem to be showing their hand a little bit early, banning that Aatrox yet again, most likely going to be Fluoride on that set again, but does not want to deal with an Aatrox. I'm hoping to see the set flexed, but so far it seems very clear-cut that that's going to be a top lane set.
That said, right, Yukong not picking Azir here, right? The Trundle was R4, Azir was R3 for them. I think you have to pick your support here. Save your counter pick for mid lane. Please, I'm begging you, draft coach. You also Blitzcrank being away by Akuma. That Blitzcrank did wonders in the previous game. Will be Lulu support, so they've learned their lesson from the game number 1 draft for sure.
Absolutely seems that way. You have the luxury of getting that counter pick. Why not do it? And Lulu here, I'm actually very happy to see picked up. She has been dominant in pro play of recent, especially with a lot of the meta AD carries. And while it does not seem either AD carries is quite that comfortable on Mr. 200 years himself, Aphelios. That being said,
okay. That's fully top.
Oh, and so it is, and the TF as well in the mid lane.
I believe this one has actually been played previously by Ica. He did go for the AP build when he did it most recently. I want to see the Omnistone build because I think it's something that if you master is still very strong. And it's very fun to talk about. However, probably going to be AP Twisted Fate. I think this one's can be fairly well countered if you have the right pickups in mid lane for Yukon. Something maybe like a Vel'Koz, or something else with that type of range. Maybe a Xerath. Works very well against TF.
To see what they pick here.
Orianna. That works.
Option for a different control mage this time around. I do have to say, I love the Orianna with the set. The ultimate combination is a huge threat here, potentially for the side of Akuma Scimitars, especially when you think about that Jarvan 4 ultimate. That it's the classic case, potentially, of not you're trapped in here with me, but more so the other way around.
I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me.
Exactly.
We're into the end game draft. So Volibear, of course, going to be the top lane pickup for Akuma. I think that's a decent flex once you saw the Trundle on set. You're able to take Jarvan, who's able to contest contest Trundle a bit more early. Almost would have liked to see Kindred, but I don't think that's in the Akuma jungler's wheelhouse. So, thus is the way of the world sometimes. But we're into the lane matchups. Top lane, Volibear versus Set.
Volibear top lane is something that has had a bit of controversy around it. It's still being explored. Obviously, the Volibear pick is strong. No one is denying that. There's some problems, though, when it comes, especially to more coordinated, higher elo play. Volibear's passive now causing him to, once he's at 5 stacks, automatically push a wave. So while it allows him to push a wave very quickly if he wants to, sometimes it can lead to him having to be pushed up too far, being out of position, and having trouble escaping at that due to the fact that he only gets movement speed on his Q, and especially in this situation, a Trundle who can slow him down, give Set time to catch up, and facebreaker him back certainly could be dangerous here for Evan Johnson.
Definitely. When you opt into this matchup, right, Volibear has 3 options. Set has 1, right? It's a Volibear can go AD, he can go AP, he can go tank, right? Set pretty much has to go for some combination of a Death Stance and a Trinity Force or Black Cleaver in some order. Some people like Trinity Force first. Some people like to go for Bork, although that one's been nerfed a bit. But you're looking at this very versatile champ, the Volibear, and depending on how well Evan Johnson feels about the lane, he could potentially opt for the AP Volibear. I think that can work very well in the set if you're confident on it.
Absolutely. And something else we didn't really touch on, or at least I mentioned all the negatives of the Volibear. But that being said, very easy gank setup through the use of his, I believe, Thundering Charge, runs at them, easy stun, Set, no way to escape it, as his Q only gives move speed when he's running at someone. But Volibear can set up the ganks very easily for this J4, start with his stun into the flag and drag, and that's just going to be tons of damage stacked on during that time. But also, as you mentioned, there is a potential that TF here could have the Omnistone build, and Volibear actually could go AP.
I mean, it's entirely possible. We'll see how the side of Akuma wants to build here. Meanwhile, though, jungle matchup, we already touched on it a little bit. Jarvan the 4th versus Trundle. How are we feeling?
Definitely going to be seeing a very gank-heavy side here from Akuma Scimitar. J4, very aggressive jungler. He is one of the most infamous level 2 gankers. You take that red buff, you take that blue buff, immediately run mid lane, top lane, bot lane, you name it. Has such a good form of that crowd control that anyone who can set him up even a little bit can potentially lead to a very early kill. The Trundle, though, going to be invaluable as the game goes on, much like in the first games we mentioned. Can use that subjugate and tear down the front line for the enemy team. Going to make it very hard for Volibear or J4 to frontline. And overall, that definitely just seems to be the dynamic, right? As J4 wants to snowball leads, get his lanes ahead, whereas the Trundle wants to more farm up, counter any ganks, and make sure he's there for team fights.
Yeah, and meanwhile, in the mid lane, Twisted Fate versus Orianna. How are we feeling about that matchup?
Well, there's certainly a number of things I could say. For example, at the very least, Corki Nazir isn't super exciting. So at least it's not those. TF, though, going to be looking for roams, looking for setup with this J4, wants to roam around, make it more of a 2v2 when possible. However, Orianna, not so much, just going to potentially want to push into roam, or otherwise play a very safe, conservative game, scale up, and play to their advantage, which would be that team fighting, command shockwave we've seen throughout the many years of pro play, the devastation it can cause during a team fight. But overall, in a setting like this, where you have such strong dive potential, especially through that Volibear with the Stormbringer, disables towers through the use of his ultimate, could lead to very sudden and easy collapses.
Anyways, all that being said, before we move into our game, we're going to take a break. But before that, just a little bit of word from our parent company, United Esports Association. They are a Kansas-based company that oversees multiple products that specialize and operate as a dynamic pipeline within the esports industry, providing shared experiences that directly serve collegiate, youth, hobbyist, and amateur video game players at every stage, starting as a small student group out of Wichita State University. Since then, UEA has grown to be a veteran organizer to tournaments and events throughout the United States. They host tournaments for games like League of Legends, Rocket League, as well as Overwatch. For more information, check them out at uea.gg. That is uea.gg. We'll see you after the break here with more Upsurge Minor League.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity.
Red side and a 5-point start for both these teams.
We're looking to see an explosive match here, if possible, Finnick. Both of these teams wanting to get ahead as soon as possible, prove that dominance they've shown in the past few games was not a mistake. And as you mentioned, this is round 3. It's a bit more do or die than the last two. And meanwhile, Yukon B actually the one who came out ahead last time, so you've got to imagine they're carrying some of that energy into this next round.
Yeah, and we do see Ica opting for the Unsealed Spellbook, so that will be AP Twisted Fate. Unfortunately, we can't talk about Omnistone Twisted Fate. I think that one's a very fun build to talk about, mainly because as a Dota player, you build like a Dota player for one time in League. It's great. That said, Oven Johnson has pressed the attack, won't be going tank Volibear. He starts with the Arcane Ring, so telegraphing that he may want to start with the AP Volibear, going with the Hextech Gunblade. However, that's still up in the air for Oven Johnson. Can go either AD or AP with that. Both junglers starting their red buff, not spotted out by either jungler here, so we'll see how they decide to clear as we start the game.
Good ward there as well from Yukon B, spotting out Haru, heading towards that top side. Gonna have to see Flora adjust for it. He did very well last game, making sure that he was able to play patiently when he knew Haru was around, not going too aggressive, not giving anything away, but playing up just far enough that Haru didn't know whether or not it was warded. But this will definitely be a slower matchup for the most part, as we mentioned some of the loading screen while we were talking to each other, Finnick. You have two mid laners who mostly just want to scale or otherwise not interact with each other too much. TF looking to roam, Shabug on that Orianna, just mostly wanting to clear the wave and wait to scale up, wait for those team fights. And other than that, you do have a more fight-heavy top lane, but bot lane as well. Ezreal trying to sit back and poke with the Lulu, but as I'm saying it, there's a lot going on in this bottom lane. Charm's coming in.
Scorcher Blaze looking for some more. Exhaust goes down, Mini Milk will fall, and First Blood goes over to the Trundle. Ignite hits on Arthritic Boomer, but he should stay alive. First Blood on Scorcher Blaze feels really nice as a Trundle player. Haru, though, might have something to say about it if he wants to gank mid lane, instead just opting to invade onto the Trundle's jungle and take his entire red side.
Definitely making the best of a bad situation. Haru will be able to help set Scorch Blaze behind some. That being said, Scorch Blaze never been one to get too down about that. Has found little leads in other areas. Both sides will be getting a Scuttle Crab still, and the bottom side for Scorch Blaze is actually coming back up here for the Mini Milk. Oh, not gonna get that Scuttle Crab.
That's a fat F right there. As a Karma player, anytime a Mantra Q doesn't do what I want it to do, I feel sad. Not as the Karma support player, mind you. I'm a Karma top player, so scum of the earth Karma player.
Haru's coming
Here
in.
comes Haru. On the fluoride, Flag and Drag hits, Haymaker, gets a nice shield, but no true damage as the heal comes through for the Volibear, and Haru picks up the kill, 1 kill apiece for each jungler.
And I don't know if you caught that, Finnick, but it seems that Flora there might have actually fat fingered that flash or used it how he did not mean to. He flashed almost in place. Still got caught with the Flag and Drag, and obviously now dead, down a flash. And meanwhile, Oven Johnson sitting very pretty here on the top.
Yep, and we do see the longsword and boots from Oven Johnson. So we don't know which build he's going for yet. Obviously, longsword does build in the Gunblade, and typically when you do that on Volibear, you can either go for the Bilgewater Cutlass or the Hextech Revolver first. I think he's just trying to see what Fluoride's building before he decides, potentially.
And that being said, also, even then, the Gunblade build normally involves a Spirit Visage right after to maximize that healing. So it might just be, you know, more of a tanky game. But that being said, Haru is moving around this map right now, making things happen, already putting some fear into the bot lane of Yukon B, clearing out this vision, and with an Infernal Drake being the first one to spawn, whichever team gets that could be a nice little boon for the laners, doing that extra damage, especially as that carries into the later game.
I will say, Jarvan does not have a fear. That's the one type of CC he doesn't have, other than a silence and a charm and a taunt. I didn't think that one through. But definitely striking some fear on, despite the lack of a fear, as they move in towards this dragon.
Ica does have priority. Yukon B, though, not interested in fighting for that.
Yep, it should just be going over. As Directive Camera just has a very intense want to watch this topside matchup while the dragon was being taken.
And we can talk a bit more about this topside. As you mentioned, the set already has a less flexible build than this Volibear, is now set behind, no pun intended, and down almost 20 CS from Oven Johnson, getting pushed into this tower, and Scorcher Blaze not really taking advantage of it. Quite frankly, Scorcher Blaze isn't even really looking at that top side, looking at this bot side again.
Colossal Chungus Flash is here. He was exhausted already. Arthritic Boomer ignited, but he'll stay alive. So Flash out of the Kaisa in the bot lane. I really wanted to see Omnistone TF. That's so much fun.
It would have been nice, but here we are though in our game. Speaking of TF, he's hit that level 6, and especially now, it's going to be very relevant because I think something we haven't really mentioned much in these past games is that despite picking 80 carries or scaling picks like Ezreal, who doesn't really want to fight that much up until his Muramana is completed, fully stacked up, and then suddenly he hits like a truck. We are still seeing both of these bot lanes fight so aggressively at every given opportunity. So far, ironically, neither of them has actually gotten a kill. Mini Milking the only one to go down, but that was 2 Scorcher Blaze when he went to that gank.
Meanwhile, Oven Johnson doing all the bear things top lane. Ika gonna grab the blue buff for himself. Nope.
Ooh. Haru,
I think, just scumbagged that one away from Ika.
Not playing Shaco, but still seeing a backstab come out.
It hurts. Hurts so much.
Trust nobody, not even your jungler. Haru, looking at this top side, but before I'd very privy to it.
Well, we'll end up clearing a ward. There's Ika okay in these trades, towards the mid lane. Colossal Chungus making his way over though, alongside the Karma, but Shabug smells something fishy. Stays on her tower.
And right now, Haru's wanting to make things happen here. Like, support is up, Mini Milk is around, but Scorcher Blaze is going to get that over without much of a fight. And it's almost funny to see it here. Even an itchy trigger finger on the side of Akuma Scimitars, really wanting to make something happen. But Yukon B seems to... Spider senses are tingling somewhere there. They know that something is up. They've been playing far more passively. Definitely trying to play carefully. With that being said...
Here comes the TF ulti, the dunk lands back into the set ulti, but it's not gonna be enough. Oven Johnson picks up the kill at the top lane. Ika with the assist.
Very well played. This is exactly what we were talking about, is how well they can dive. And speaking of dives, bottom lane Scorcher Blaze putting the pressure on, but not looking like he's going to pursue it any further. Colossal Chungus is alone here.
Oh, that's a first tower topside. Scorcher Blaze is still down bot. Rift Herald was just taken. Garvin should pop this. Colossal Chungus trying to kite his way out. Was polymorph those. Arthritic Boomer picks up the kill. That is a trade of first tower for your ADC.
That being said, though, that is 610 gold between both the first tower and the tower plates going over to Oven Johnson, as we just saw there from the replay client. So now, almost double the amount of gold on Volibear from this set. Fluoride now 0-2 on this set pick, having lost first tower, and meanwhile the bottom tower, despite Colossal Chungus going down, only down 2 plates. And right now, Akuma 7 has...
He just full bot Triforce.
That's kind of gross. Not gonna lie on that one.
He had a single longsword.
Yeah,
and he just sold his Doran's ring and refillable potion and got a Triforce.
It's looking like this Volibear might, and stick with me here, Fennec, might be a little stronger here than the 0-2 set. Still higher up on CS, now 1-0-1, first tower down, has teleport up in case he wants to join for this dragon fight.
He's also 1800 gold in the lead.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well for himself, to say the least. We're seeing a lot of posturing right now. Dragon is coming up, will be a mountain or cloud soul. And right now, Dragon Game started up, but Yukon B making their way slowly over. They know that it started.
No, but Mini Milk already there with the zone control. Here comes the TP. Shockwave hits onto 2. Shabug tries to find his way into the fight, but it can't find it as the polymorph lands down on Haru. Pulled back in by Fluoride. Pride Haru gets taken down low, but he will end up trading back onto Scorcher Blaze. Fluoride now gonna try for more. Ends up getting the showstopper haymaker combo as Minimoke goes down to 100 health. He will end up getting stunned up though as the double kill hits for him. He will trade his life. 3 for 2 in favor of Akuma Scimitars with a double kill on Ica. Going for more gold card flash over, but still gets caught by the Q. 4 for 2 in favor of Akuma Scimitars. Oh no. Make that a 5 for 2. Unofficial ace.
Johnson. 2-0-4. Triforce completed. Wrecking the team fight. Teleports. Gets the flank on Arthritic Boomer. Forces him out. Flashes over. Makes Arthritic Boomer use his flash early. But still joins back into the fight. Makes it favorable for his team. And Fluoride, to his credit, 2 kills. Obviously coming up big in that team fight. But alas, not going to be enough. And Oven Johnson is currently a one-man wrecking crew.
Yep. One-man wrecking crew indeed, and able to out-split push with Set, who Fluoride, meanwhile, just building in towards the Blade of the Ruined King, casually 2.2 thousand gold down on the enemy Volibear, who is, at the moment, building in towards the Iceborne Gauntlet. So, everything is fine. Fluoride is just the meme right now. The "this is fine" meme.
Everything is burning, but he will happily sit patiently. Right now, he did get 2 of the 4 kills for his team now. I believe the only 2 to go down in that team fight. But that being said, obviously very good on Fluoride to find those little return kills that he could get. But game is starting to get opened up in favor of Akuma Scimitar. 7 kills to 4. 4,000 gold almost to their favor, and now 2 dragons as well.
Oh, here comes Haru. Flag, drag, stun lands on the Kiss Me Slow, ends up popping the Lulu ulti, but he should end up falling. 2-shot barrage hits no one as the dunk comes in. Here comes the Kaisa. Colossal Chungus picks up the kill, handed nicely on a silver platter by the one and only Oven Johnson.
Very well played on this Volibear, finding each fight, using his ultimate to make those picks, those fights happen. And right now, he's not just dunking onto the enemy team, he is slowly dunking those dreams of winning this game into the drain.
Well, it's not just winning the game, it's winning the series and keeping your playoff hopes alive. You know, we need a Dunk Master Volibear skin.
I thought we were gonna get the J4 one if I'm being honest, but going to Ivern was definitely, if you said Hextech for one person and Dunkmaster for another, and there was Ivern and J4, I'd say Dunkmaster J4 every time, but I was proven wrong.
Well, I mean, so we need Dunkmaster Set as well. So right now, right now, I'm just saying, so we have Dunkmaster Ivern and Dunkmaster Darius. If we get Set, Volibear, and Jarvan with Dunkmaster, we have a 5-man team.
Maybe not ideal, but a team all the same. That being said,
I mean, it's a full basketball team in the car. You got all 5 men. Who's playing what position, man?
Oh,
hear me out.
All right, let me think here. I'm gonna say, okay, so you're saying you got Volibear, right? Ivern, Set, Darius, and you're saying J4? Is that the last one?
J4, yeah, J4.
Okay, I might have to get back to you on this because I'm Johnson. Looking a little aggressive. But
got polymorphs. Should be enough to dissuade any further fighting as Ica's inside with the gold card.
Alright. I've thought about it. My brain is expanding as we speak. I'm gonna say Darius in the top lane. I'm gonna say Ivern in the jungle. I'm gonna say J4 mid, and then Volibear Set bot lane. Might have to rethink that bot laner, but that's what I'm saying. Saying Set support and sticking with it. Rift Herald being started up by the dunking man himself. J4 backing off though, and right now UConn B could be looking for this. Fight's about to break out.
Yeah, popping the ultimate as Alvin Johnson goes on to Kiss Me Slow, gets exhausted up as the dragon will go to the J4 with the 3-man dunk right back into the Volibear. Ends up getting caught in the haymaker, but he still ends up living through it. As the set falls, here comes the Kaisa on to Kiss Me Slow. Arcane shift over the wall. Arthritic Boomer should be able to get out of that one. Lost Chunga, still looking for more. Won't find it though. 3 for 0.
disastrous for the side of Yukon B, but if you are a fan of Akuma Scimitar, this is exactly the type of player wanting to see. Now 3 times the kills of their opponents, 7k gold almost up on the opposition, and now getting their 3rd dragon, Cloud Drake at that. That move speed going to be very integral for ultimates such as the Twisted Fate. You teleport in, you run at someone with the yellow card, it will find those picks, and especially I want to talk about the Volibear here with that Stormbringer. Such a powerful ultimate, disabling those towers and getting the extra move speed after using it will allow him to stick on anyone he wants.
You know, when I was talking about Dunk Master, I was thinking about a basketball team, not a league team. But I like your answer regardless.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't really
I don't know much about the positions on basketball team either. I know there are defense, there are point guards, there's forward. I think that's
it's
it.
probably Doppelware ahead. Because I don't know too much either. All I'm gonna say at that, Ivern would certainly make a good point guard with his height. I think he was actually, the skin I think was based off of a point guard in the NBA, but I'd have to get back to you on that one.
Okay, so here's my question. Who's the Steph Curry of the team? Who's the 3-point shooter? Right?
I'm gonna say, oh man, wow, you're posing tough questions today. I'm throwing Set out there. I'm putting Set in that one.
Set's the Steph Curry? Alright. Alright.
I don't have the reasoning. I don't have anything too solid, but that's gonna be my answer. Oven Johnson, yo, he's in a 1v3 scenario right now, but the team is collapsing. He's going.
Here
up
comes
and
the
going
dunk.
in.
Looking for the slam. Come on to the jam. Colossal Chongus with the Acathian Rain as the TPC channeled by everybody. It's a 4v5. Here comes the shockwave, but there's no follow-up damage as Haru's already into the backline. Fluoride with the haymaker trying to stay alive in the backline, but he still falls. It's 4 for 0. Scorcher Blaze trying to make his way out, but TF says nope. And Hyde Haru picks up the ace.
My goodness, I'm starting to see why they're called the Akuma Scimitars, because they are cutting through this enemy team. Currently 5 for 0, a clean ace, all started up by none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Oven Johnson on this Volibear pick. Now 3-0 and 10, running this game over, 17 kills to 4, and quite frankly, I don't think we've seen a kill go over to Yukon B for the past 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's been quite the stomp here. Excuse me. It was 10.7 thousand gold. Now it's 11,000 gold lead for Akuma Scimitars at this 19-minute mark. We see the Righteous Glory completed on the Volibear into the Thornmail, just saying nope to the Set and the Trundle. Speaking of PTA on Trundle, I know we haven't really covered this, but I like this more than Conqueror most of the time. That said, where is your grievous wounds for the Volibear? And by that I mean, don't build a Morello's, but I feel like Set needs a Thornmail himself. Or
the Bramble Vest to the Executioners. I get what you're saying. Yeah,
I meant Bramble Vest. I meant Bramble Vest.
Yeah, one of the cheaper options. Scorcher Blaze in a little bit of trouble here.
Nice chain CC. Here comes the Acathian Rain, but Kill gets the lead by the Shockwave. Still goes over though. Here's the stun with the gold card. Goodbye, Set. Ready, set, go. Back to your base in a gray screen. Baron getting started. Akuma Scimitars.
Doing a Monopoly being played. Just kind of that one card that did not pass go, did not collect 200. Right now, that's just fluoride. He got put in the community jail at the moment. And speaking of Monopoly, that seems to be what Akuma Scimitar has on the map here, grabbing every objective that they can.
No.
Now, getting the Baron, potentially can reset if they want to. We're seeing the whole team do so now. And not only that, Dragon Soul, or Soul Point rather, Dragon, is spawning now within the next few moments. And such a beautifully timed reset here from Akuma Scimitars that will be out in time to try and clear this vision, get control of the area and then start the dragon, making sure they are not doing so too late to do anything about contesting it. And meanwhile, Yukon B, helpless to do anything here. They're pushed back towards their base, not able to step out, and Kiss Me Slow, if he gets caught here, is done for.
Well, flash, gold card, Q,
Oh.
and a couple more autos. Pops the ultimate, gets a knockup down. Red card, slow, and the kill. Ika's dominating. Would like to point out, the man bottom of Jai is now 25 stacks. The BM Israel. Ika now gets another gold card. Colossal Chungus picks up the kill with the one and only killer instinct into the Cathian Rain. This is a bit of a stomp here.
That would be a very polite way of putting it here, Finnick, because right now they are down over 1,300 gold.
Jarvan, two-man Cataclysm into the dodge, pull back though. Four-man Facebreaker into the Haymaker, but Fluoride still goes down. Oven Johnson on a rampage. It's a beautiful engage. It's a beautiful counter engage, but it doesn't matter. There's no damage. Double kill for the Volibears. The response comes through for the Ezreal. True Shot Barrage gets some damage down. They're able to get the Nexus Tower and the inhib. Want to get the inhib tower, they want to get the other inhib, waiting for the minions to come into the base.
Oven Johnson shows no fear, nor does the rest of the Akuma Scimitars. They are running away to are low on health. The Colossal Chungus is going in. Throwing the team a bit of a bone there. And I guess saying, you go ahead, guys. I got this. I will give them 1,000 gold for that dragon. Slight mistake there from the AD carry of Akuma Scimitars, but that being said, Cloud Drake, Soul going over to them. This is going to be huge for them.
It feels so nice on the Twisted Fate in particular. Karma couldn't make her way out of the pit because she didn't have flash, so ended up going down. But we do see AP Kaisa being built, of course, on Colossal Chungus. Should be able to shred through the set pretty quickly, as well as the Trundle, who was going to try to steal stats from the Volibear. We have a 5-0-10 Volibear. We have a 3-1-14 Jarvan. We have a 6-0-10 Twisted Fate, who now has a rapid fire cannon completed. And a 25-stack Majized.
Not only that, the Rod of Age is already, it has been seen at 10 stacks for a good while now. He has 400 AP almost on this TF. We saw how much damage he was doing, and we saw how if he catches anyone out, they are done for. And speaking of Fluoride, very out of position.
Rips the Facebreaker, able to get a nice showstopper, tries to escape, but here comes the Volibear. Haymaker gives basically no shield. And he's down. Colossal Chungus was polymorphed, though. Not able to get the Void Seeker. Here comes Arthritic Boomer trying to get something. But Colossal Chungus ults to stay alive. Scorcher Blaze now trying to find his way onto Colossal Chungus. Can't find it. Ika is godlike. And now in a 1v2, Oven Johnson gets one. He's looking for the second. Come on and slam. Welcome to the jam. Double kill for Oven Johnson. That's going to be the Nexus. That's going to be the game. That's going to be the series. And Akuma Scimitars move on to the next round as Shabug tries to take up the damage from Ika, who just says no thank you. And that's going to be it.
Much like Oven Johnson says here at the end, good game, well played, 2-1 going over to the Akuma Scimitars. A very well played series. We saw the strength of this team in every single match, even in the second game when they're down, finding advantages, looking for ways back into the game. And right here, you have to shout out Oven Johnson. 7-0-11 on this Volibear pick, dominating the game.
Looking at the damage charts here, looking at them graphs. Most damage in the game without looking at them. What you got?
I'm gonna bet Oven Johnson with Ika being a close second.
It was Oven Johnson with Ika actually being a close third. Ezreal did a little bit more.
Ooh.
But Oven Johnson, 17,000 damage on the Volibear. 15,000 on the Twisted Fate. Ezreal doing 15.7. And yeah, just really, really dominating performance from the solo lanes, from Akuma Scimitars in particular. Who's your MVP for the match?
Oh my, without a doubt, I'm actually going, I almost wanted to say Oven Johnson from that last performance, but Ika in the middle lane we saw such a diverse champion pool from him throughout this, not just this series, but throughout the entirety of this UML play. And not only that, such consistency, performed well on each champion, showed mechanical knowledge even on that Yasuo. And specifically in that last game, had a kill line very, it was almost completely equal to that Volibear.
Yeah, really, really well done from Ica throughout this series. I also want to give an honorable mention to Haru. He did very well in that first and third game in particular, but second game still made some very nice plays. All that being said, though, that's all the time we have for tonight's broadcast. From everyone here at Upsurge, the administration, league staff, production crew, everyone in between, my name is Finnick, joined by Jacket, producer Reed HD. We'll see you next week.